We are in the stretch run to the midterm elections, and there's some fascinating races around the country, particularly where progressive Democrats are trying to take a district that is already Democratic and make it more progressive. And there's no better example than in California's 29th congressional district. That is where Angélica Dueñas is taking on incumbent Democrat Tony Cárdenas. Cárdenas, very much of a corporate Democrat. Dueñas is an activist, community organizer, wife, and mother of 5, and she has taken some time to join us today. Angélica, thanks for being with us. You're feeding your kids on food stamps, as I understand?
Yes, unfortunately right now, since I am not working, we are on food stamps, trying to like make ends meet, but it's okay. We're doing the really great strides in our campaign, and these sacrifices we know are worth it. So my family is very much supportive of this fight. It's sacrifices that we think are necessary to make our community a better place. But yeah, proudly on food stamps at the moment.
Well, and what you're doing is you're essentially relating in a way to a lot of people in your district in ways that most political Democratic leaders cannot necessarily relate. What's been the response as you've sort of put together this grassroots, very progressive campaign?
It's been great, actually. We've had 100% positive interactions when we're going door to door. The conversations are great. In 2020, we were not able to knock on doors because of the pandemic. So this time around in 2022, we're having these conversations, and people are hungry for change. We're seeing it across Los Angeles, and San Fernando Valley is nothing different. People are wanting better representation, and a working class voice is what they're thriving for, and that's what we're giving them as an option. So people are so happy to have an option in November to replace corporate Democrat Tony Cárdenas, who has represented our community for over 25 years, with a working class Democrat and with our campaign. So it's been great. It's actually been very, very positive.
And California's 29th, you mentioned it's the parts of the San Fernando Valley. It's apparently one of the most immigrant, more Spanish-speaking parts of California. Tell us a little bit about the electorate that those of us who are outside of the district may not know.
Yes, so we have about 75% plus Latino population. We are working class. There's a bit of some pockets that are more middle class and upper middle class, but the majority of our district is working class. It's very industrial. It's really where all these essential workers live and come from that keep our city alive. So the San Fernando Valley has been working and helping the city get by for a very long time, and we have been sacrificed time and time again, from a lack of jobs, lack of resources, to environmental racism that we were seeing with the LADWP power plant here in Sun Valley in my district that had a leak for over 2 years, and we were not ever made aware until another agency discovered it. So we are tired of our sellout representation at all levels of government, and we're seeing that in these campaigns that are challenging the challengers, challenging the incumbents, and we're coming ahead. So it's an exciting time here in Los Angeles and in the San Fernando Valley.
You mentioned that Cárdenas is perhaps a sellout. Give us a couple examples. I mean, if somebody in your district says, look, it's a Democratic district, why get rid of the incumbent? What are the biggest strikes in your view about Tony Cárdenas?
Oh my goodness! Well, he's had over 26 years of experience of ruling to be able to show us what he's going to do and what he's not going to do. And these 25 years, what do we have to show for it as a community? Absolutely nothing. But what he has been able to do is give contracts to his friends and family. His wife has gone to the tune of $500,000 or so for social media consulting. As you may be aware, here in Los Angeles, we had Nuri Martinez and other city council members caught on tape speaking racist, just horrific things, and gerrymandering. Well, her husband, he has gotten about $500,000 too for political consulting. So what we've been seeing here in the San Fernando Valley is that people are being left out, while each other of these representatives at different levels, who are friends, they're comrades, and they have been working together for a very long time, have been enriching each other. So what we're seeing is that for the over 25 years of Latino and democratic representation that we've been, fighting for to get here in the San Fernando Valley has gotten us much of nothing for us as a community. So that people are tired. They don't want just a Democrat. They don't want just a Latino. They want a voice that's going to fight for them. They want people who are clean of dirty money. They want people who are ready to speak truth to power. And this is why we're seeing these insurgent campaigns be so successful here in the San Fernando Valley. Not just our own, but in the city, in the county politics. So it's a very exciting time here in the San Fernando Valley. We've been left behind for far too long, and the people are done with it. Basta ya is what we're saying out here.
Well, you're not taking corporate money, so you're not beholden to all these corporations the way Cárdenas and other corporate Democrats are. But I would imagine that just in terms of the campaign, that makes it more difficult in terms of raising money and competing on an equal level.
Absolutely, you said it. In 2020, we got 43.3% of the vote with less than $80,000. Tony Cárdenas spent $1,400,000 of his campaign money. On top of that, there was super PAC money and independent expenditures that went down. So we spent 85 cents a vote in 2020. The only reason why we didn't win was because not enough people knew we were running, because we were not able to knock on doors, because we didn't have all these fancy, resources. We used a CD of data, a big old giant spreadsheet, and Google Sheet to do our campaign in 2020. In 2022, we have way more resources, way more ability to knock on doors. Things are getting better. We just need to get the word out. It's an exciting time out here, and I'm so glad that we have the opportunity here to get the word out.
Yeah, Angélica, if you are able to win this seat, and you'll be very a fresh face in Washington, what would your priorities be as a member of Congress representing California's 29th?
Absolutely. What we plan is to have our office be a community empowerment center. We want to be able to share space with our community. We want to empower our community. We want to teach them how to petition government, how to organize their own movements, how to run for office. We want to use our social media platforms also as a teaching tool to be able to teach communities across the country to petition government. What I want to use is my time in Congress, which I plan to be in there for 3 terms, and my 6 years in Congress. I want to empower my community and communities across the country, and I want to be able to get voices to the working class. That's my number 1 goal. Obviously, we're going to be pushing for progressive legislation. We're going to be supporting legislation that's already in the books, and writing our own. But my number 1 priority is to empower my community and the working class.
By empowerment, is that because of economic difficulties, educational difficulties that face the Latino community?
Yes, all of it. We have been left behind for far too long, and what we're really missing is organizing tools. We have the voices, we have the needs, we know what we want, we know the solutions is just putting words to it, getting organized around it, and speaking truth to power. I think it's, organizing does not come easily for any and all of us. And I think that with a little bit of tools, we can really make it happen. And we've seen it time and time again. Change does not happen from the top down, it happens from the bottom up. So what we need to do is to ensure that the working class people have the ability and the means to get their voices heard. And that's what I'm here to do.
You have a background as a community organizer. How much of that experience sort of helps translate into a campaign and what you might do in office?
Well, I think it's been very helpful. Talking to people and being able to talk issues and policies and solutions has been really helpful, because we've been able to talk to not just Democrats, but independents, Republicans across the board. People are hungry for change, and they want to hear solutions, and they want to hear how it is that we're trying to solve these problems that we're all facing, from homelessness to lack of healthcare, mental health services across the board. The working class here in the East San Fernando Valley is a very mixed and diverse community, from very conservative to very liberal to everything in between. But the people here are very good-hearted, and they're looking for a real solutions to the problems, and that's what we're giving them. We're listening to people. We're taking people's ideas in, and as long as they match, our morals and ideals and our ethics and things. I mean, communication is key, and so that's really what we're seeing here is having these conversations open. Don't cancel people. This cancel culture is just getting us nowhere. what's the point then of having these conversations? And it's been a great experience, honestly. Like, have conversations, people. You'd be surprised.
Nationally, the political headwinds seem to be a little bit against Democrats. Is there a real possibility that if you were to win this race, you still might end up serving in a Republican majority House? Have you thought about that at all, and how that might change what your priorities and opportunities might be?
Yeah, no, it's a scary thought, but you know what? We've had the majority of all this time and time again, and right? I think that what I really plan on doing, like I said, is empowering the communities and the people. I think that these progressive, issues from universal health care, affordable housing, peaceful foreign policies, all these issues they're not radical. This is something that actually the majority of our country agrees on. And I think that what we really need is to organize around these issues. And regardless if we have a majority Democrat or Republican, I plan on helping the people mobilize. So we're gonna get it done regardless if we have the majority or not.
Angélica Dueñas, she is the progressive candidate in California's 29th congressional district. We're just days away from the midterm election. She's taking on the corporate Democrat incumbent, Tony Cárdenas. This is how you can help Angélica if you want to go to her website, you want to donate or volunteer. Angélica, it's been a great campaign so far, and good luck to you in this election.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.